morning. Okay, we are live on Facebook now. We're going to give it a few more minutes for some people to join us. Oh, my screen is still green. Silliness. Okay. With the cricket sound. How weird. All right, we got some comments on Facebook coming through. Apparently, we're going with the theme of the Wizard of Oz. I'm going to turn a few things off that are in the background and possibly creating that cricket sound. So give me just a second. I will be right back. I promise you on Facebook, you guys, it's like legitimately green, but on Zoom, on like the feed that I'm getting, it's perfect. Not green at all. So I don't know what's going on here. Okay, hopefully that cricket sound's going away. Let's go ahead. Phone down. Is that better? Move webcam to a different USB port. Okay. Oh, it magically corrected itself? What? Okay, well, whatever. It's working now. Facebook's no longer green. So let's move on with our day. Does anyone have any specific command questions? I know we've got 5 on Facebook and 1 live on Zoom with us. Make sure you guys leave stuff in the chat. I am definitely watching. Ashley Butterfield's joining us. Let's see here. There we go. Can you guys see my screen? We'll refresh Facebook so I can see what you can see. Okay, there we go. Y'all are quiet this morning. I'm thinking my second guess if you can hear me. Okay, so this is opportunities in command. I wanted to show you how to add some checklists to things. For those of you that don't know, I'm a pretty avid user of Trello, but I found, we'll add Kristen Stewart on here. I found a spot in command where I can actually put my custom made closing checklist that I have on Trello, which is right here. I found the spot where I can put this into command and still assign roles just like I can in Trello, but then everything is in command and we only have to go to one place to see what's due when. And for me, that is a huge, huge, huge thing because I operate in many, many different programs and systems, and the more I can combine them to be one thing, then that is great. I'm not sure if this is the right place, but what are some good lead ins for getting a buyer to sign an agreement? Tiffany Servant, if you're still on, can you join the Zoom and discuss Kristen Colquitt's question? That would be great because I do not have expertise in that field. Okay, so like I said, I found a place in command where we can put our custom checklists in command and still assign them even if you're under a team. So somebody who is implementing this really well, and I only learned this because I'm in their real estate school, is the Matt Ford team. Matt Ford's team has a completely virtual assistant, and she runs their checklists for their closings and listings completely through command at a super high level. So she is someone that I am looking to spend a little bit of time with because obviously there's some things that I can learn to teach you guys that she is doing. But just to get started here, let's take a quick look at the opportunities. So I just went to regular command, I went down to opportunities, and then here where it says 0 out of 0, that's what I clicked on to get this checklist. If we go over to escrow, you can see that I can add an item, earnest money due. The earnest money for this is already here, but I can add that item and then I can make it to where the client gets an update when we have it or not. I can assign it to a certain person. So if this were earnest money that wasn't in yet, excuse me, I would assign this to our team agent who is working with these clients specifically. And then I would set a due date. That way, their command and mine update or notified me when we were approaching that deadline. Just a second. And so that's the first one. Let's move on to inspections. We have multiple checklists, not multiple checklists. We have multiple timelines that are going. You all know when a contract gets accepted. So another one of those timelines is the inspection notice. And another one would be scheduling the inspection. Actually, great opportunity here to make some adjustments since we're creating this checklist. Let's put schedule inspection because we want to do that within the first 5 days. We want to schedule it. And then we'll get the inspection notice here. And then we also, of course, need the inspection resolution. Okay. Now this one is in that stage. Let's go ahead and take a look in this one in particular. We'll go to documents. Can't remember if I have an inspection fully done on this property or not yet. It's contemplating its life decisions here. Command will catch up with us in a second. Does anybody have any questions so far? I'm still watching Facebook on one monitor here just in case. And then I got the chat open. Let's just go ahead and refresh this page here. There we go. Okay, under contract. We're going to rearrange this a little bit. Inspection notice. Let's see if this one's fully accepted. Okay, it looks like this is fully accepted. So we need to do some moving. Let's go back to under contract. Let's move it over to appraisal. And we don't have any tasks set up under appraisal yet. So let's go over to this checklist. We can do appraisal due date. We can do loan commitment, and we can do call lender about numbers. I like to call our lenders to see if they're on track about 10 days before the closing, just to see where they're at with things and make sure that we will be continuing to run on time. It also, at that point, I generally will have a pretty good indication of if the appraisal is going to run on time or not, if it's already been done, things like that. And what was our last one that we were going to do here? I'm getting sidetracked. Loan commitment. Loan commitment due. Okay, so that's that. And then I guess you could probably move some of these over to financing, like loan commitment due. Okay, it doesn't want to do that. So this doesn't act like it's quite as drag and drop friendly as the other places in Command are. I'm sure that that's an update that is coming. So we'll save that, and we will put title and lender. Okay, so we're going to put balance with title and lender so that we have that 3-day warning. We'll probably actually, if I were timing this out, I would put it at 5 days before, just so that it actually lined up. In fact, let's take a look at what that would look like. My goodness, I will learn how to talk here in a few minutes, apparently. I'm just opening up a spreadsheet that tells me when our closings are actually happening. That one is 2/16. So February 16th, we need 1, 2, 3 business days. So we'll set this for the 11th at 9:10 in the morning. We will assign this to me, because I will be the one contacting the title company and the lender to see if they have balanced. If this deal were with one of our other transaction coordinators, I would assign this to them. So let's move back here. I'm going to refresh Facebook again, make sure we don't miss anybody's comments. Okay. And now we can go to clear to close. Actually, when I'm in financing, since that's typically going to be in that 10 days before area, I'm going to also add compliance check. I personally do a compliance check 10 days before every closing. And at that point, that's when I really start to dissect things to make sure that we will be paid on time along with closing on time. So that says Saturday the 6th. I'll go ahead and make that Friday the 5th, which is 11 days before. I do try not to work on the weekends, but it usually does not work out that way. So now we got the clear to close. I don't do a lot with clear to close. If I have something completely ready in command, everything accepted except for the final closing documents, I will put something in that section. Like I'll move a closing to that area, but I don't have a checklist in there. And then of course we just move it to closed after it has closed. So there is a way to set this up to where those tasks are automatically assumed for every single transaction. I do not know how to set that up, but I will come at you next week with how to set that up so that it sets up automatically for every transaction. Oh, actually, it's right here. Ha, ha, ha. Look at that. We're learning together. Okay, so it looks like if you go to under contract and then you click edit stages, it looks like in this column here for checklist that you can add items. How awesome. So we would go here and, oh, look at this. This is working very well. They've done an update to this since the last time I was in this side of it. When I was in this side of it previously, it didn't function very well with Teams, so we didn't do anything with it. Earnest money. Okay, now again, if you click client update, it will update your clients once those things have been accomplished. So every single day, your clients will get an email if you turn that on, and it will email them as things have happened. Now, if things haven't happened that day, then it just still sends the email, but it doesn't have any like milestones accomplished or anything. So let's go to inspections and we'll do that one again. Inspection notice due. And we forgot to do schedule inspections here. And we should probably do for under contract for sure a social media post, introduction emails, I introduce myself to our clients. At this point, helps if you can spell wrong or spell correctly. Oh, gracious. Introduction email to title and lender. At this point, I also do contact the title company and the lender at the same time in the same email. That way they have each other's contact information as well. And introduction email to agent on other side. Okay, and I do also introduce myself to the agent on the other side of the transaction because up till now, they've only been dealing with our team buyer's agent and not me. They need to know who I am just in case I send stuff to them like amendments and whatnot that need to be signed. So that would be our complete escrow checklist, I would say, as far as getting something right away. So here we go, introduction emails right here. Email the title company, social media post, earnest money due, which on the new sales contracts, it assumes 5 days. So we're going to assume that we're going with that 5 days and not writing something in. So that means that the inspection notice, the title commitment, and the inspection resolution are all going to be part of, and actually I'll do that submit commission as well as part of this inspection column. I do not submit our commissions until after the inspections are resolved. That's just because there's such a high probability that the price of the house, like the property, I should say, may change before the commissions are submitted. So it's just a personal preference that I just don't submit it until we're done with inspections and they're completely resolved. Inspection resolution. And if anybody wants a copy of the checklist that I use, just shoot me an email. I can send you a direct link to that Trello one, this one right here. I can send you a direct link to this so that you can copy the tasks and you can put this in your command as well. Submit commission. There was another one that we said we were going to do. Title commitment. Oh, I pressed save. Gosh dang it. Okay. Title commitment. Now that's usually 10 days, so that's going to be, we'll put that above inspection. Inspection notice, we've typically been doing 15 days on contracts right now, 15 to 20 days. Title commitment, we've still been doing 10, but on average, they're not in on time. So you may consider extending that as well currently. The inspection resolution is, I believe it's assumed that it's 10 days after the notice. So I think that can probably stay the same. And there's not anything in the contract about when to submit your commission. So we're good there. Okay. Under appraisal, let's go ahead and do our email about utilities and our email about scheduling the final walkthrough and the closing. I do those 10 days out. Like this computer knows what I'm doing. Email about utilities. Email about final walkthrough and closing. Okay, so that's a scripted email and actually both items are in it, but sometimes I do need to send them separately because sometimes I know that something's not closing on time, but I could still send them an email about how to set up their utilities correctly. So that's why I keep these separate, even though they're typically in the same email. Calendar about numbers we can put in here. Does anybody have any questions so far? I know I'm kind of breezing through some stuff. Kristen Colquitt, I know that you asked that question on Facebook. I'm going to refer you to Tiffany Servant for that because that is above my level of expertise, as I am not currently licensed, but I've passed the state, and Tuesday at 9 a.m., hopefully, I will pass the national. So let's go appraisal due and loan. Well, we'll save that loan for the next. Appraisal due. So we'll leave that for that. Financing. Loan commitment due. What else do we got here? And we can do compliance check. So maybe under clear to close, I should put social media post scheduled. Kristen, do you have a question?
Elysse, I do. My question is on your when you were talking about the utilities or things like that, do we get a list or do we how do we how do we do that or how do you proceed on that?
Let me just show you the scripted email that I use. So we recommend a service that we do not get any kickbacks from. Let me have several scripted emails in my Google documents. Let's clean this out. What is it? Where are you at? Utilities email. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Okay. So this is an example of when the utilities and the final walkthrough and closing email is combined, but you can tell it's pretty easy to separate as well. So I start with hello, and then I usually insert their names there. First, I wanted to take a moment to discuss the utilities with you. We recommend that you use www.osconnects.com to get your utilities set up. This website should make it fairly easy. We've never had any complaints with it, just as a side note there. Never had any complaints with anybody using this program. So it is free. They don't have to pay for it. And from what we've heard feedback-wise from our clients that have used it is that it does help make things more simple. Also, I asked them, second, would you be willing, will you be wanting to complete a final walkthrough? Usually that question alone tells me if they're planning to close in person or not, which is why I do this at least 10 days out. Sometimes sometimes I will do it a full 2 weeks out because I do know that the title companies generally ask us for 2 weeks in advance if we're doing a mobile closing. But I've been, as of right now, I've been pretty safe doing it 10 days. They've still been able to accomplish everything and haven't really complained to me yet. So I'll keep doing it at 10 days out. And the next thing I also, we'll just keep reading it. Lastly, what time would you prefer your closing be on? And I list the date that their closing is currently scheduled for. And the reason that I ask them what time they want to close and not what time they want to do a final walkthrough is because what time they want to close on the property tells me how long I have, like what time I need to schedule their final walkthrough for. So the first thing that I'll do after I get their email back, after it says what time they will close, like what time they want to close, the first thing that I do is Google how far from our title company where we're closing, how far from the new property that office is. And then that tells me, okay, I need to allow this much time for driving. And then I know final walkthroughs take about 20 to 30 minutes. So I schedule accordingly. And then the next thing, your closing will be at blank title company located at, and I always include their address. For Great American Title, I do include that it's next to the Keller Williams building because it kind of gets lost in there. It's just a small little building off to the side. So just in an effort to help our people not get lost, I do include a little landmark there. And also, if you have any questions, please let me know. Have a wonderful evening. I typically send this in the afternoon or evening. That's why it says have a wonderful evening. Sometimes I've sent it in the morning and forgotten to change that. So nobody's caught it yet, but at least not anybody that's said anything. But this is the actual email that I use. I do just copy and paste it. If you're not using your Google Drive, would highly recommend that you look into using it more, because this document is with me no matter what computer I'm on. I can copy and paste it on my phone into an email. It's very, very wonderful to have the Google documents that I use all the time with me. So let's go back to this. Where were we at? We were at clear to close. So I think that in clear to close, we should probably put the keys, negotiating who's going to have them, when they're going to be where, if they're going to be at the title company, if they're just going to be given to us during the final walkthrough, if we can just give them to our people then, whatever you want to do. And let's move that settlement statement over to financing. Settlement statement. Save. And is there anything else that we've missed here? Did we do a compliance check? Yes. Okay. I think we're okay on that one. Oh, I do. So because we're on a team, closing our stuff out is a little bit different on the MLS than just an individual agent. And I found that a lot of people they just go fast and they just put it under Tiffany, even though, or the agent that they got the contract from, even though it needs to be Tiffany and then a team agent. So email of, oh gracious. I do 24 hours before our closing, I do send an email that tells them how I recommend that they close it out on the MLS. And that just prevents emails from me to Shauna later on. I'm sure she gets tired of hearing from me every once in a while. So let's move to, I think that's pretty good. Let's move to closed, edit stages, and then let's go ahead and start our checklist here. So the first thing that I do when we have closed is I put them on an anniversary smart plan. The next thing that I do is do a social media post, but we already put to schedule one, so I think we'll be okay there. I do have a tendency to pre-schedule them on Facebook and Instagram. It is nice to not have to think about it. AM cards, we do upload our people into there. So there's that. And then check how close on the MLS and send out a review request. Send out review request. And now I check how it's closed in the MLS typically a week after the closing. I give everybody a little bit of time to get all of their stuff done before I am hounding them. I try not to be all up in their face. Let's get this done, especially when they're on the other side. They're busy too. Check how closed on MLS. Oh, gracious. Okay. There we go. So that is our after closing checklist. And let's go back to this. Looks like under contract is set up pretty well. Let's go to active. Can anybody think of something that we would need to put as a checklist for people who are actively looking to buy? I can think of one. Get the buyer's agency signed. And then the second one I can think of is we have a client contact information sheet. And I will show you said client contact information sheet. I told you guys I go to my Google Documents all the time. it's very much so all the time. So here is our client contact information sheet. And you can see it goes over some basic stuff that title companies will need, we will need, etc. 2 lines, one for each person. Typically there's 2, not many more. So first person, second person's name. I do ask that they use their legal name. That way we know how to fill out paperwork properly. Also their mailing address, which you need for command to put them on smart plans. Also the title company will ask for this generally. Phone number, again, 2 lines. That way they can each enter their number. Email address, same situation. Birthdays, that is purely so that we can put them on the My Birthday Smart Plan on command. You will notice I am big about database health. So let's take a look at my database's health. And I keep in mind, I'm not licensed yet, so this doesn't reflect anything outside of just work that I am doing to make sure that I start with a good effort. Um, Phone number, you can see I have 93% of my contacts phone number. I have 58% of their emails, 38% of their addresses, and 10% of their neighborhoods. So that is why this top portion is very, very important. It completes your database health. It also makes it to where, for example, their mailing address, if it is not the like a house that's around this area, you can still sell it on a referral. So still put them on those monthly neighborhood nurtures. That'll help be your 36 touches that you make. That's 12 out of the 36. It's a great number to start with for a single smart plan. Also, does anyone share partial ownership with you? Legally, we cannot ask, are you married? Legally, we cannot ask that as licensed personnel. So Anna Ford helped me find a different way around a way of rewording that question that would also get us the answer. So sometimes, like on lots especially, oh goodness, excuse me, sometimes you'll get somebody who comes to you, oh, I want to sell this property. And they indicate that they're the sole owner, but every once in a while you'll get where a question like this prompts them, oh yeah, by the way, my wife that lives in Japan, she owns this as well because of the way that property is owned in the state of Missouri because they're legally married. So I actually did have that happen a few weeks ago. Also, how did you find out about us? I want to know what avenues of lead generation are working for us. The things that we are paying for, are they working? What's producing the most? What do I need? What do we need to be putting more money into because it's producing for us? So that is why this question is on there. And you can just throw this right into DocuSign and put in some places to add text, and they fill it out beautifully, and then it's there. And then you just go into your command, you add a new client, you add all their information, set them up to do showings. It's beautiful. So that is, I think, what we should have in our, in our checklist for active. And let me know if you agree or disagree, or if you think that there should be more that we have. So there's that. I don't know that I need to put something in negotiations. If I did, I think the only thing that I would put there is seller's disclosures off the MLS need to be sent with the offer, if the offer's been made, things like that. But for me and our team, I don't know that people would look there to make sure that they have everything. So that's where we're going to leave that today. Does anyone have any questions? Oh, and you can also do this for the listing side as well. I just didn't want to dig that deep into it today. Does anybody have any questions so far? Okay. I do need to make an ad if anyone wants to hang around for that. That's definitely something that we can do. Let me switch to my emails so that I can see what ads particularly I needed to make. Okay, 140 East Winfield. So we're gonna switch to Tiffany because this is an ad for Tiffany. And we're gonna go to campaigns, which is the little megaphone thing. We're gonna create a new campaign. Social ad. advertised listing. Let me switch back. 140 East Winfield is what we are looking for. And I've kind of gotten ahead of myself here, but that's okay. We're going to run it on Facebook, set up campaign. Here it is, right here. It doesn't seem to have a picture. This is new. Okay. Oh, we're going to save this as a draft real quick because I forgot one step. You guys, if you've been around for a little while, you all know that I'm pretty big on the landing pages. So we're going to go to consumer, which is the very bottom. Oh, or it's going to take us somewhere else. Okay. As you can see, I do like my landing pages. If the green bubble is lit up and to the right, that means that that is active. If it is gray and to the left, that means it is not active. So we're going to create a new one, a standalone page. I always title it the address. There for a while I was titling it the MLS number, but I noticed that after a few weeks I did not know what that MLS number was referenced to because they're not on the top of my mind all the time. Okay, so I've titled it the address. We're going to add agent branding. And I actually think we're going to change that to branded header. Perfect. We're going to add the listing. We're going to scroll down. Now, this is not the listing. This is just a template at this point. We're going to add the legal footer, the lead form, and download my app. Okay, so just to kind of go back over what we're doing here. We're doing a branded header. You can see her phone number and email are there, KW, and our logo, and her picture. The listing, download my KW app, another lead capture spot, because there will be one on the ad as well, and our legal footer. Okay. Now we're going to go to configure widgets on the bottom right-hand side. Yes, that's great. Here we go. East Winfield. There you go. What? There's no pictures. Okay, there's no pictures. But it pulled all of her text. So this is all correct. This is all from her listing on the MLS. Give me just 1 second, sorry. Sorry about that. Okay, so what I would do at this point is I would say custom image, and what I will do here in a second once we're through with this and we're out of this training is I will go to the St. Louis MLS system and pull a picture. Generally it does pull those automatically. She may not have one on there yet, but I believe they're the same as us and you have to have one to make it active. So it's probably just not pulling it because it is a commercial property, and sometimes commercial properties specifically don't properly connect with our KW platform. So here is this. And actually, we weren't there. Okay, so we're going to say save landing page. Yes, please save it. And okay, you can say that you can see that it's a draft and it's not published yet. So if we went back to the megaphone, paid ads, this is our draft. Go to the three dots, edit campaign. It didn't pull a picture here either, so I will be manually adding pictures there. We can custom configure the text, kind of like what's on the top there. I will be editing the headline, for sale in Winfield. Investment opportunity. And in here, this spot has 250 characters. Typically, I will take a different part of the property description and put it here, one that didn't get to come in here. And add media. So if I wanted to add a video, or this is where I would be adding images. The Facebook ad itself, this is where things get quite interesting. Yeah, account Tiffany Surveillant page. Oh yeah, this okay. So this is the Facebook page that it runs off of. We'll run it on Lake Ozark Living. Actually, we're gonna run it on the Chesterfield page, and we will use the landing page. Call to action is learn more. Choose landing page is what we want. And because it's not published, it doesn't show up there. But once we publish that landing page that I need to add that picture to, it will show up on this list, and I can just select it and it will automatically go to there. Now, the place that I really want to dive deep with you is the custom settings. You can target specifically your database, and you can target a custom audience. So this, for example, we're going to still use the United States. I think we are going to go ahead and use Winfield, Missouri. However, the maximum amount of miles in a radius around Winfield that we can use is 50. And I do use all 50 of those miles in the radius. Also, you can dive deep on the interests. So I usually start with the word real estate development, real estate investment, real estate investing, and then finance, personal finance, investment, real estate investment club, renting, and commercial property, because this is a commercial property. So you can see on the right hand side there are estimates of the audience based on that. So I'll save that, and you'll see that my destination URL is flagging because I do not have that landing page selected. And then the duration and budget. We typically do $30 total for each ad, and we will spread that out over 10 days or sometimes 14 days. That's just our personal preference. That's, oh, come on. Start date should be greater than today. Great. Save as draft. Yes. Okay. So I'm gonna stop my screen sharing and make this, oh, come on. Okay. Move Facebook back over here so I can keep an eye on it for a second and open this back up. All right, Kristen, it looks like it's just you and me. Do you have any questions before I jump off here real quick?
Nope, I don't. I'm listening to what you're saying. I can't be watching. Um, but my big thing is, I don't do listings. I'm a buyer's rep. So when you're talking about those landing pages and I have stuff like under contract, once they go and they've sold it, can I post that
Um,
or no? Because I was not the listing agent.
yeah, I
Because
don't think that you can, but you can still run ads saying that you sold it. I would just get permission to use that listing from the listing agent. And
okay,
also, what I would do is I would run a Facebook ad just specifically about the closings that you're doing.
okay,
And you can run searching for buyers. You could run an ad on somebody else's property, of course, with permission, searching for a buyer for that property and utilize it as a tool to find you more buyers.
okay. Yeah, because and I have a question for you on Facebook. So if I am looking for a, a certain property, can I post those parameters out on Facebook asking if anybody has anything or knows of anything?
That's
Is
a
that legal?
That's a Connie question. Now, I know that people do put that in the Matrix board Facebook, the private Facebook group, along with our private Facebook group, but I'm not sure how public you can go with that.
Okay. All right.
Like the
Because I
private
have
groups are
not.
one thing, but just making a post about it, I think would be a little bit different.
Okay. Yeah, because I have not done that, but I was wondering if
Yeah.
that could be done.
Yeah, I know Kristen King's been doing it in our private group, and yeah, I would ask Connie how public you can get with that because I'm not
Okay.
sure.
And when you say private group, that's just realtors, right? Like your.
Yeah, like the agents and staff, the Keller Williams, like the Ozarks Realty, that's private to just our office. And then the MLS one is the matrix board for the BDAR. That's just realtors for the BDAR. They
Okay.
don't allow anyone other than possibly a few vendors in on that.
Okay. Okay. All right. Yeah. Because I wasn't sure how to do that because I do have some listings,
Hmm.
but Sherry takes them.
Well,
That's
those are team listings though, which would like when
correct.
we being Tiffany's team, when we have a new listing, it doesn't matter whose it is, it gets
Uh huh.
posted to every single person's social media, every team member's. That's a team listing.
Okay.
That
That's
we
what I should do then. Because
find buyers for. And the same thing, like when David Homiser has a closing, the entire team's Facebook pages get lit up with, "Hey, we had a closing today." It doesn't matter
okay.
that it's just his. That's a team win.
Okay. That's cool because yeah, I just like I have some lots where we had to mail the contract out, and I have some good ones that are coming, or I'm going to be optimistic that we're going to get next week.
Okay.
That are lake frontage.
Now you
Um,
can't talk about them and outside of our office unless you're going to for sure have it active on the MLS within 24 hours.
right, and I haven't said anything. You're the first one. I haven't brought that up to anybody because I don't want to
Yeah.
jinx myself, so to speak. But I know that like in our case, we move that over to Sherry. Like she takes all listings
Sure.
because
So
I
like
guess
all
that's
of our
what she's
listing
doing now.
contracts are written as Tiffany.
Okay. Yeah.
But that doesn't mean she's the only person working it. We're going to work as a team to get that property sold because that only makes us look stronger and it supplies us with more business as a whole.
Okay. Yeah. Yep. Nope. So I've got to get on task with that. And is there sometime next week that I could possibly meet with you and just go over the stuff that I'm struggling with in command and things like that? Is that a possibility where we block out an hour and just run through a few different things that I'm struggling with? Is that
After
could we do that?
February 1st, I'm actually taking on a new role starting February 1st with the Market Center, where I will be in the office 3 hours a week, just specifically to meet in person about command.
Okay.
So let me get my test taken next
Yeah.
Tuesday, and then that following week, if it can wait a week. If not, we can work something out. I'm not trying to say
Yep.
no.
Nope. I've got to make sure that I'm good at getting the docs, uploading, being able to fill out contracts, things like that, because Sherry's not able to help. Most of the
Yeah,
time she's not around,
right.
so then I sit and I fall on my face,
That's
so to
okay.
speak. And then
We all
I
do that.
handwrite
I
the
promise you,
contract.
we all fall on our faces.
I know. And she wants everything typed up and this and that. And
Yep.
yeah, so I just need to make sure that I'm motoring around the site.
Now, have you been
Yeah,
sending fake documents to your spouse or team members through
I have
doc?
not.
Okay, that's gonna be the first thing that I recommend doing. And you
Okay,
can
so
say
we do our docs different. They use
Dotloop
forms or us.
or Forms R Us. Okay, so either way, you need to know how to use whatever they use
Yep.
really well at a high level. So no matter what program you're sending documents through, if you don't know how to use it like the back of your hand, you need to be sending yourself or people around you fake documents.
Okay. All right. So I'll just have to start scheduling an hour and a half a day, or blocking half hour here,
I do
hour
it when I'm
here.
watching TV at night, because
Okay.
I have a hard time sitting still, so I still need something to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll sit there, and because it's not actual contract work, like it's not a real deal that I'm typing up here, it's okay if there's mistakes in it.
Yep.
But what's important is that I know how to do it. Um, that's when I will do stuff like that, because I can just
Okay.
sit on the couch with my laptop in front of me, and it's better than surfing on Facebook for hours while watching TV.
Okay. All
Not
right. That sounds great. I will try and work on that this weekend, because I've got some buyers in from out of state, or I believe they're coming back this weekend. I don't know. I didn't want them to come back if there's not any property to show them in their wheelhouse. So
Yeah, it's hard to plan that sometimes.
yes. All right. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. If I don't talk to you ahead of time, great luck on your test. You'll do
Oh,
well.
thank you. I think we're
Okay.
squeezing in one more training session with Anna on Monday. So
Okay.
I know there's 3 of us that are retesting on Tuesday. So fingers crossed.
Yeah. Well, awesome. Good luck.
Thank you. Have a
Okay.
great day. And don't
Yep.
hesitate to reach out with any questions.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.